This is an emergency alert. It is Friday, July 19th, and there is a global outage happening right now, a worldwide outage. Blackout is causing flights to be grounded worldwide from multiple different major airline providers. They're also having Cobra meetings, quote, Cobra meetings for a national emergency to potentially be declared. That's what these meetings are for, and they're being held right now to deal with the situation. Planes have stopped, trains have stopped, and they're saying that this could take weeks, quote, weeks to fix, all right, because they're going to have to go through one by one and help everyone individually that is dealing with this worldwide blackout. This is affecting the US, the UK, France, NATO countries are all being affected, Australia, all being hit at the same time. All right, so let's get into the details here really quick. Please just hit it up for me down there. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. I'm posting every single day, keeping you guys updated on this big urgent news. This just broke the morning of Friday, right? And this is a current situation they're saying could go on for weeks. So you need to be getting prepped. You need to be getting ready if you're not already. Maybe go get a few last minute things. Maybe get some cash. Maybe fill up your gas tanks and your water tanks, because this could be the start, right? This could be the start. This is affecting the government, okay? The Department of Justice says they're being affected. Everyone's being affected by this right now. All right, so this is big. Flights are grounded across the globe, and they're also having emergency Cobra meetings right now. All right, so we're going to get into all the details here. And this global blackout is being caused by a program called CrowdStrike. So it says CrowdStrike outage sparks global chaos with airline, bank, and other disruptions. It says Microsoft Windows computers were affected by the outage. A wave of IT outages swept across the globe Friday morning, sending airports, airlines, banks, and other institutions into a screeching halt as some Microsoft-based computers ceased to work. This is a quote from the article. American Airlines, United, and Delta Airlines all asked the FAA for global ground stop on all flights, according to an alert from the FAA on Friday morning. And as of 6:25 a.m., at least 540 flights in the U.S. have been canceled. Okay, so there are still some flights that are in the air currently that were already in progress, but they're saying any future flights from American Airlines, United, and Delta are going to be stopped globally. This is a global ground stop on all the flights. So pretty damaging, to say the least, and a big event happening right now. If they're able to implement a global ground stop, that means something is seriously wrong. Something at the source is wrong. Potentially source information is being compromised or exposed or locked up in this event from this blue screen of death. All right, even if it's just they're locked out of it from this could take weeks to fix, and that's what they're warning and telling people as well. Weeks to fix. Okay, so over 500 flights have been canceled already, and there's going to be more throughout the day because it's going to take a while to resolve this issue. And we could see more airlines make this announcement too. Here's a quote. Earlier this morning, a technical issue with a vendor impacted multiple carriers, including American. And all of this is coming at the same time they're having emergency Cobra meetings for a national emergency. All right, we will get to that in a second too. But it says the FAA told air traffic controllers to tell airborne pilots that airlines are currently experiencing communication issues. Quote, no one here knows anything. The gate agent said, we all know as much as they do. That's what an airline passenger told ABC News, saying his flight from SeaTac Airport in Washington was delayed for 2 hours on the tarmac before passengers were deplaned. quote, "I feel awful for the employees and those that have a sick loved one that they need to get to, or funerals. Thankfully, that's not us." All right, it says, meanwhile, flights that were already in the air were allowed to continue, but no American, United, or Delta flights had been taking off since the outage. It says, quote, "We are aware of technical issues with CrowdStrike that is impacting multiple carriers. American is working with CrowdStrike to resolve the issue as quickly as possible, and we apologize to our customers." That's what American Airlines said. All right, so global grounding of plane. All right, it's also affecting the DOJ. It says a source has told ABC News that some computers have been affected at the Department of Justice in this outage, though there was no indication that it was affecting law enforcement activities in the field. Some hospitals around the country have also been affected from this outage as well. Mass General Brigham in Boston, Massachusetts canceled all elective surgeries on Friday, and the Cincinnati Children's Hospital Medical Center in Avondale, Ohio also reported some disruptions. All right, so this is affecting hospitals, rail lines, planes, okay, and they're also holding emergency Cobra meetings to potentially declare a national emergency right now. All right, you can see here, this is coming out of Reuters. It says officials from the, quote, Cobra unit, which manages the government's response to a national emergency, are working closely with affected sectors and are keeping ministers updated. All right, so this is happening in the UK right now because this is affecting the US. This is affecting the UK. France is being affected. Australia is having these outages as well. This is hitting all the major Western and NATO allied countries at the same time, right? And they're saying it's from this glitch potentially with this Microsoft program, right? That's what it's being blamed on right now, but it could be something else, okay? They always say it's a glitch. Every time they're like, oh, it was a glitch. They never admit when it's something big like this, grounding flights. There was a nationwide grounding of flights just last year, and they blamed it on a computer glitch. Okay, so these things keep happening, and it's very suspicious and strange. A spokesperson for the Cobra meetings said, quote, "There was a meeting of officials covering the various sectors and industries affected. A meeting to be able to ensure that they're keeping ministers and all relevant departments updated on the very latest picture." All right, that's what a spokesperson said on Friday for the Cobra unit, all right, which is the government's response to a national emergency. So they're considering to declare a national emergency in the UK at least over this event. All right, so this is big. This is not some little thing, and this is how it is. I've said this 100 times. I was just talking about this late last night too. All right, if you guys didn't see my video I posted late last night, bombshell news from a top U.S. general, top U.S. commander. All right, he just warned of this in the past 24 hours, and now these big things are happening. All right, so it's not a coincidence. I don't really buy the glitch theory. It's possible, but it seems unlikely that we keep having these glitch after glitch. This is CrowdStrike, by the way, is a security company. Okay, so they just have a glitch. They just glitched out. It seems like CrowdStrike could have been targeted because look at the impact it's having. All right, they're like the company that's supposed to secure all your data and allow you to move it around to different servers and different networks, okay, easily, and keep it very secure. Help Microsoft do that. And they've been targeted, all right? So it seems very suspicious that this company that processes secure data is targeted like this and gives all these computers the blue screen of death, which is it could be the end of your computer. It could wipe it out, right? They're saying they're going to go through and help everyone fix it, but you might just have to factory reset your computer at this point, right? They're still trying to figure out. And people are also mentioning as well that another thing that's going to hold up is that people need their keys, okay? So they need a special key code to get back into their accounts, right? Because a lot of this information is stored on here, critical information that they need. And they're saying just trying to contact tech support and get these keys is going to be a major issue as well too, right? Just some of the things that they're warning of why it could take weeks to do this, right? And I'm not like an expert on any of this stuff. I'm some dude that lives out on my homestead, right, and has a bunch of chickens and stuff. But I've also have used computers since I was a kid, so I know a little bit about the stuff, not a ton, but I generally know what's going on here, and it does not look good, guys. It looks like it's going to take a while, right? And here's some more information on what's actually going on here. 2 major airports in Paris right now are also being affected and affecting flights going in and out, right? People in hospitals are also worried and saying that they are not getting their surgeries, all right? There's also a hospital in California that's being reported having these outages, and nurses are saying that they are working by pen and paper and using their iPhones to prescribe medication and give people help, right? And they're saying this increases the risk, right? They have to go old school. That's how a lot of these things are. And you can actually see this little time lapse here. I'll put this little thing here for you guys so you can see the flights that cleared out of here. All right, so you can just see there were a ton of flights over the US and then they all stopped, right? The skies were empty. These flights are starting to resume. They're trying to get their systems back online. All right, but passengers are stranded now too at airports, all right? There's millions of people that there were hundreds of flights canceled, over 500. So all these people, and then it's affecting all the other people that are waiting for those planes too, that were going to fly to them. They're waiting for this plane to go there so they can fly back, right, or go to a different location. It's affecting a ton of people right now too, and people are stranded from this as well. Okay. It also says NYC subway controllers lose track of trains. It says transport officials in New York say they are unable to track the location of their subways amid an outage. This is affecting everything. Everything. And this goes to show how, and I've warned of this many times, how it only takes one of these programs to be compromised, right? It only takes one little logistic program or security program or something like that that everyone uses in these major industries, and then it's over. It's over, right? That's all it takes, and it happens overnight, guys. It's so quick. This could have, it's actually affecting banks too, right? Right now, certain banks are being affected. This could have been something even bigger, where you wake up and you can't get any cash out. Your debit card doesn't work. Your credit card doesn't work. These processing payment systems don't work, right? That's what we could be dealing with. The gas pumps don't work. You can't buy anything, right? We could deal with a similar situation. These things keep happening, right? The frequency, and then people are always like, oh, I've been hearing about this for, you keep saying this is going to happen. Well, it does keep happening. Every month there's some nationwide or global outage or disruption like this. It happens all the time, right? I give warnings sometimes of what's coming, and then a lot of times these things are just here. They're happening, right? That's why it's good to give the warnings, because these things, this is one of the major cards to be played, right, is a major cyber attack or a major disruption to all of our critical services, right, and take them offline. And then just like they're saying in the UK, they're contemplating declaring a national emergency. And think of the powers that would give them if they did declare this type of national emergency on this level, all right? Because it kind of is, all right? It kind of is a national emergency. Biden just last week activated Title 10 and federalized the National Guard in 8 different states to prepare for a major cyber attack. All right, I just warned last night in the middle of the night, top U.S. general, actually 2 U.S. generals, one of them's a commander, and the other one is the Defense Intelligence Agency head. All right, so 2 top generals just are warning of very similar things, that it's gonna hit the fan. We're gonna see these big disruptions that change society, right? So I don't want this to happen, but there's a lot of things. It seems like they're playing their cards right now, right? So NYC subway systems, and just think of all the stuff that's happened the past week. It's been nuts. And then this just happens too. It's just a coincidence, guys. It's just another coincidence. Don't worry. Just like everything else that's happened the past week, it's just a coincidence, all right? So be on the lookout. I'm not saying 100%, oh, they're going to declare some type of national emergency or major response like this, but it's getting more likely every day, the stories that come out, okay? If something happened to Trump, that could have been a national emergency. If something happens to Biden, he gets super sick, or something happens to him, or whatever, all right? We don't want any of these things to happen, because then it can be used to declare a national emergency and take things over, and we might not even get to the end of the year, all right? We might not even get a 2024 like we thought we were going to get. That might just be canceled and delayed because the situation is too critical, all right? So even NYC transit systems are being affected as well. They're saying that outages are affecting the Metropolitan Transportation Authority as well, and it means that their countdown clocks and information boards are not functioning. So lots of things are going on. Major airports that were affected: ATL, Dallas, Houston, DC, Chicago, NYC, Boston. All right, those were the hardest hit airports and regions that were hit. I know there's multiple airports in those areas, but that's what's being reported on this map here. All right, so I'm telling you guys, please get stocked up. Please get your tanks filled. Just have them filled up. Have your gas tanks filled up. Have your water tanks filled up. Have these things ready to go. Have some chicken food stored for your animals. All right, I'm just thinking about one of the things I always do. Have some extra bags of food for your dogs, your cats. Have extra food for your family. Have these preps. Have these things ready. Because once something big like this happens and people realize, and there is potentially a national emergency declared, they're holding Cobra meetings right now in the UK. All right, the officials are meeting and discussing this. Once that happens, people are going to freak out. Okay, they're going to panic. You shouldn't. You don't need to. But the general public is going to wake up and be like, wait a minute, this is all that's actually happening. And they're going to think that they only have one thing in their fridge. They have a quarter gallon of milk and a little juice cup, okay, in there, and like some Chinese takeout. Most people living in a big city, they don't get big grocery orders. They don't have a bunch of preps, a bunch of stockpiles. All right, we go to the grocery store like once a week. Sometimes we'll try to stretch it even longer. But some people go every day. especially if they live in big cities. They live right near the grocery store. And if these supply chains are disrupted, it's over. They're not going to have any food. They're not going to have any supplies, any preps. And it is going to be an emergency, right? And especially if things like supply chains are affected. This is already stopping trains and stopping planes, which are part of the supply chain as well. This is probably affecting more businesses than we even know about. This just happened in the past 5 hours, 6 hours from this video being posted. So we could see cascading effects from this. That's my point, is that, oh, now this one business is down and it's affecting this other business that depends on this business. This business needs the train system to move around, and now the trains are stopped, right? And this is affecting more than just NYC. It's just, that's where we hear it first because there's 8 million people that live there, okay? But this is affecting rural places as well, right? And it's even affecting some people, their computers and their software individually, okay? And just a word of warning too is that Microsoft is owned by Bill Gates, okay? He's the creator of it. Just some background here really quick for you guys. And he even got caught, allegedly, even creating viruses for Microsoft to sell antivirus software, all right? That's something that he was doing back in the day. He would create these operating systems. He knows all the back holes, put back doors in them, and then exploit these back doors, lock people out of their computers, and then they have to pay him to get back into the computer that they already paid him for. All right? Just something to think about as well. I'm not saying that's what's happening here, but Microsoft is technically created by Bill Gates, all right? So just something to think about if you do have this software, is that it's probably not the best, all right? You got to have something, but Windows and Microsoft probably is compromised as well too, right? They're not known for having the best security measures, and just knowing that it was created by Bill Gates too is just another red flag in this situation. I'm not saying he's connected to this. He has mostly divested from Microsoft, all right? I'm not saying he's directly connected, but it's weird. It's his company that he created, and then we're seeing this global outage, all right? I'm not saying he did anything, but it's kind of suspicious, to say the least, all right? And he's warned about this stuff before. Global cyber attacks, global meltdowns even from these cyber attacks, right? Where things start getting compromised, like power plants, nuclear weapon systems, the military even. And he was even running drills for something very similar to this. He was funding it with the US and Europe just a few years ago. I made a whole video on it, right? Where he was running these mock drills where there's a big cyber attack, there's a big blackout like this, and then in the midst of it, there is a major release of some type of biological contagion, right? That's what they were running a drill for. Bill Gates was funding it and everything. He was talking about it a bunch. This was probably in 2022 at the end of the year, and saying that this is a real event and we're going to run drills for it. I'm going to pay for it, and I'm going to make a big deal out of this because this could happen, and I'm warning you guys, right? So maybe he's just a prepper, all right? Maybe he's just prepping too, all right? I'm being sarcastic, obviously, but that's a scenario as well, all right? So it's like these systems that we think are safe are now compromised. They're taking over power plants, defense contractors, weapon systems, biological testing labs. Things like this can all be compromised and have their security breached in situations like this as well too. All right, so thank you guys. Please hit it up for me down there to help get this warning out so people know this is a live situation still. This is going to affect people for weeks. They're going to try to get the most critical infrastructure online first, all right? But individual businesses, individual people, all these things, they're going to be struggling for weeks just to get through. They're going to just be calling every day, sitting on hold all day, essentially trying to get through. It's going to be one of these situations. It's going to be a mess and a disaster to resolve. All right, so thank you guys. Hope you guys have big blessings for your life, your family. Be on the lookout for more videos here soon. All right, this was just an emergency alert, so I wanted to get this out early in the morning. Thank you guys, and I hope you have a big old blessed day.